Good morning, students. Today we are starting with B.Sc second year, semester 4 with paper number 8 with the name Basics in Medical Microbiology and Immunology. In that, I am going to take your unit number 1 that is named as Medical Microbiology. So, in this today's lecture, we are going to go through overall syllabus. Okay. So, first of all, we must all know what is meant by medical microbiology. Medical microbiology is nothing but it is a branch of science which is concerned with the prevention, diagnosis and treatment of infectious diseases. Means how we are going to prevent a disease which has happened to the first person, but we are going to prevent to be not happen to the second person. That is known as the prevention. Then diagnosis means if a person is infected, how we are going to diagnose the disease which is particularly happened to the first person. And treatment, how we are going to treat the specific person, that is known as a treatment. Okay, so in that a point is in that we they have given the definitions of various concepts. Like first one, host. What is meant by host? Host is nothing but a person who will get infected by a particular organism and which will cause disease in and that specific person, that is known as a host here. Okay, second definition given in this is parasite. Okay, what is meant by parasite here? Parasite is nothing but it is an organism particularly which lives in or inside in a body, that is means inside in body means inside the host body, and it can cause a disease to a person by driving the nutrients from the host body, is known as a parasite here. Now saprophyte means what? Saprophytes are nothing but they are the organisms, a plant, a fungus or a microorganism that will live on dead and decaying organic matter. That type of organism are known as a parasites. Okay, now next they have given the commensal. Now next one is the commensal. Commensal is nothing but an organism which uses the food which is supplied internally or externally through the host body. That type of organism is known as a commensal. Okay, next definition given in a point is infection. Infection is nothing but it is a condition to the host body in which it can cause fever or other health related problems. Okay, that is known as a infection here. Next is the etiological agents. Okay, what are meant by etiological agents? The etiological agents means a viable microorganism or the toxins of microorganism that may cause disease in human beings, animals, that are known as a etiological infections. Next definition is disease. Disease is a condition in which specific symptoms are produced to a specific location which will result in a physical injury to the human body, that is known as a disease here. Okay, next definition given is pathogen. Pathogen is a bacterium or a virus or any microorganism which will cause a disease, that is known as a pathogen. Okay, now next given there is a true pathogen. True pathogen means true pathogen is nothing but an infectious agent that causes disease in a susceptible host, that is known as a true pathogen. Next one is an opportunistic pathogen. Means opportunistic pathogen are a potential infection agents that rarely cause disease in individual with healthy immune system. एखाद्या पर्सनची इम्युन सिस्टम हेल्दी असली तरी एखाद्या वेळेस काय करू शकतो, वीक झाली आपली इम्युन सिस्टम, त्या काळी एखादा मायक्रो ऑर्गॅनिझम इन्फेक्शन जर कॉज करत असेल तर त्याला काय म्हणायचं आपण? ऑपॉर्च्युनिस्टिक pathogen. Next one is virulence. Virulence means the harmfulness of a disease is known as a virulence. Means one of the bacteria, one of the virus, when it enters into the host body, it will cause a disease, and the seriousness of disease is known as a virulence here. Next one is a pathogenicity. Pathogenicity is a property of causing disease, is known as a pathogenicity. Next one is a fomites. Fomites means any inanimate objects. Now you all know well, fomites means coronavirus. It can spread through the handkerchiefs, to the door handles, to the that any inanimate objects which a infected person touches, that are known as a fomites. Okay, means they are a carrier of that specific microorganism. When a healthy person goes and touches the same inanimate objects, the viruses, the bacterium which are present on that object will be stuck to the healthy person's hand, and that will cause the infection, are known as a fomites here. Next definition is incubation period. Incubation period is nothing but a number of days between when you are infected with something and when you might see the symptoms, is known as the incubation period. Next definition is a carrier. Carrier is nothing but a person which will carry or holds a specific microorganism, that is known as a carrier. Next definition is morbidity rate. Okay, morbidity rate, it is nothing but a measure of the proportion of people in a specific geographical location who conquered a particular disease during a specific period of a time. Means एखाद्या पर्टिक्युलर स्पेसिफिक टाईममध्ये एखाद्या एरियामध्ये तो डिसीज पर्टिक्युलरली किती स्प्रेड झाला, दॅट इज नोन एज अ मॉर्बॅलिटी रेट. ओके, नेक्स्ट डेफिनेशन इज मोर्टॅलिटी रेट. Mortality rate is nothing but the death rate at a particular area, is known as a mortality rate. Next definition is epidemiology. Epidemiology is nothing but it is a branch of medicine which will deals with distribution and possible of control of any disease, is known as a epidemiology. Next one is etiology. Etiology is nothing but a cause or a set of causes of disease, is known as etiology. Next one, prophylaxis is nothing but a treatment which is given to prevent a disease, is known as a prophylaxis. Treatment given to prevent a disease is known as a prophylaxis. Next one, antigen. Antigen are nothing but a substance that causes our immune system to produce antibodies. Means in a foreign material which goes inside our body is an antigen. Next one is antibody. After entry of antigen into the body of the human or host, our immune system generates antibodies against the antigen produced by the pathogen, are known as the antibodies. Next definition is heptane. It is nothing but a small molecule when it is combined with a larger molecule such as proteins, which will lead to the production of antibodies. Such type of substance is known as a heptane. Okay. Next one is vaccine. As you all know, vaccine are nothing but a substance used to stimulate the production of antibodies, means to trigger the immune system against a particular disease, that are known as a vaccine. Next one, immunity. Immunity is nothing but a complex biological system which is introduced to fight against a specific organism, is known as a immunity. Here we complete the first point of the chapter, that is A point, all the definitions. Second point is virulence factor. Virulence factor includes production of endotoxins, production of exotoxins, production of enzymes, escaping of phagocytosis. The production of endotoxins and exotoxins means any organism, it produces some types of toxins, either endotoxin or exotoxin. They lead to the causes of disease and infection. Okay, now C point is types of disease. First disease is epidemic disease. Okay, epidemic disease is a type of disease in which it can cause an infection to a large number of community at a particular time, such as flu. Okay, it is known as a epidemic disease. Next disease is endemic disease. Endemic is nothing but a disease or a condition regularly found among a particular people or in a certain area. Means it can be restricted to a particular certain area, a particular certain road, that is known as a endemic. Next one is a pandemic disease. Pandemic means a type of disease which is spread all over the world, is known as a pandemic disease. Like nowadays it is a coronavirus. Okay, next one is a sporadic disease. Okay, sporadic disease is nothing but the disease that occurs infrequently and irregularly into the human beings, is known as a sporadic disease. Now D point is types of infections. First infection is chronic infection. Chronic infection is nothing but a long-term infection, is defined as a chronic infection. Acute infection, a short-time infection, is known as a acute infection. Next one is primary infection. Primary infection is nothing but when a particular host get infected at a first time for the particular organism without any treatment, it leads to the primary infection. Secondary reinfection means when we take an antibiotic to treat the primary infection, it means if the infection is caused by a virus, if we take that antibiotic to kill the virus and other bacteria can cause other infection, that type of infection is known as a secondary reinfection. Okay, next one is a iatrogenic infection. Iatrogenic infection are nothing but infection after the medical or surgical treatment. Which infections are caused, that type of infection are known as a iatrogenic infection. Next one, congenital infection means if pregnant woman has been infected with any organism and the baby which is present in the womb of that particular woman, that will get infected with the same infection, that is known as a congenital infection. Next one is a local infection. Local infection is nothing but a particular organ or a particular part of the body is infected with a particular organism. That type of infection is known as a local infection, such as wounds on the palms are known as a local infection. Next one is a generalized infection. Generalized infection, it includes a systematic infection, means a system, human system or any system that like central nervous system, other systems are included in the infection are known as a generalized infection. Okay, next one is a covert infection. It is nothing but a latent infection, is known as a covert infection. Next one is a overt infection. It is nothing but the infection which is caused due to exposure to a particular organism, is known as a overt infection. Okay, first next one is a simple infection. When one single organism causes infection to the human being, is known as simple infection. Mixed infection, more than 1, 2, 3, 4 organism mixedly cause infection, is known as a mixed infection. Endogenous infection, when it causes inside a body, is known as an endogenous infection. Next one is a exogenous infection. When it causes outside the body, is known as a exogenous infection. Next one is latent infection. It is nothing but a particular virus has a latent period where it does not cause any infection, but it only grows there, is known as a latent infection. Pyogenic infection are nothing but a pus-forming infection are called as a pyogenic infection. Nosocomial infection are nothing but a hospitalized infection, means the infection which are caused through the hospital staff, to the hospital beds, to the hospital formats are known as a nosocomial infection. Next, E point is mode of transmission of diseases. How the various diseases can transfer, by which ways, like airborne way, waterborne way, foodborne way. First one. To the second is contact transmission, means person to person contact or person to animal contact. Then third one is vector borne diseases or vector borne transmission of disease, means vector means insect, arthropods, okay, flies. Through them, how the diseases get transferred to one person to the another, that comes under the mode of transmission of diseases. And in the F and the last point is general principles of prevention and control of microbial disease, means how we are going to prevent and control the microbial diseases, that we are going to see in this topic. And the last G point, that is normal flora of human body and its significance, has been deduced from your syllabus. This was overall introductory part to your paper number 8 unit number 1, which is going to take one by me. Okay, thank you.